Blake Shelton and Kelly Clarkson sat down for what was supposed to be a lighthearted interview.
I ain't firing my Kelly.
Oh my God!
And so I quit, and I just went off the radar for a while. And so I'm glad to finally be talking about it. You haven't had me on one of your records.
Yes, I have.
That would be a...
No, I was on your record.
And you were on my record.
He said the quiet part out loud, on her couch, on daytime TV, no PR filter. Blake Shelton looked at Kelly Clarkson, grinned that Oklahoma grin, and dropped the line that froze the studio. Kelly and I are so cross-wired in Nashville we could probably share a toothbrush. The audience gasped, laughed, and then did what they always do with these two, read between the lines. Because that wasn't just a joke, that was the decoder ring. In 3 seconds, Blake told you why every roast on The Voice felt real, why the side eyes landed, why the chemistry never needed a script. Tonight we're rolling back the tape on the moment the banter stopped being TV and started being truth. What he really meant, how their lives tangled long before the cameras, and why fans are demanding a duet right now.
Because when you got fired from The Voice, when I was like, hey, and then I quit, I was like, y'all ain't firing my Kelly.
Oh my God!
And so I quit, and I just went off the radar for a while. And so I'm glad to finally be talking about it.
Set the scene. May 2025. Kelly's stage is a live wire. Lights burning white. Cameras stacked like soldiers. An audience already halfway to standing before she even hits her mark. She strides out in electric blue power. The room shifts with her, and there's that smile. Equal parts mischief and welcome. A beat later, Blake ambles in exactly as advertised. Denim jacket, boots that have done 100 gigs, and that half smirk that says he brought a story and he might actually tell it. Two opposites, perfectly matched. Kelly's pop spark to Blake's country drawl. They collide the way only old friends can. Fast, funny, merciless. Kelly throws the first jab about his song Texas, about maps, about how Ada, Oklahoma might need to borrow a border. The audience howls. Blake lets the laughter ride, then tilts his head and goes for the kind of line that isn't meant to trend, and immediately does. We're so intertwined, we probably share a toothbrush. One heartbeat of stunned silence, and then the room detonates. Kelly is gone, clutching invisible pearls, wheezing, tears at the corners of her eyes. The cameras catch what publicists pray for and can't plan. Two people forgetting to perform because the truth is funnier than the bit. Before anyone starts drawing a family tree, no, they're not literal cousins. When Blake says we're cross-wired, he's talking about the Nashville web, managers, songwriters, producers, ex-in-laws, and Friday night barbecues where the same 6 people have cut hits for half the town. Kelly's ex-husband and former manager, Brandon Blackstock, is the son of Narvel Blackstock, who managed Blake for years. That one fact alone explains a decade of shared orbit. Now add the usual suspects, studio guys who tracked for both of them, writers who pitched to both camps, and tour hands who can tell you which bus coffee is better. Nashville is a small town with a giant billboard. If you work there long enough, everyone becomes everyone's people.
I don't know how anybody, I'll just be real with you, goes through grief, like divorce, any kind of grief, any kind of loss, without having an outlet.
With a more than 3-year legal battle, the talk show host has filed a countersuit against her former husband and his father, Narvel Blackstock's management firm.
And that's the point. Their feud on The Voice was never fake. It was shorthand. It's the easy meanness you can only get away with when you've traded favors at 2 a.m., covered each other's chaos, and laughed through the stuff you don't post. The toothbrush line was Blake saying the quiet part. We weren't cast to be a bit. We were already a bit. Rewind the clock and the picture sharpens. It's 2006, a smoky bar off Printer's Alley. Blake's got early hits and a cowboy hat that gets more handshakes than he does. Kelly's on stage with a rock band, tearing into Since You've Been Gone like it owes her money, raw, loud, undeniable. They're not Blake and Kelly yet. They're two working singers shaking the same hands, paying the same dues, having the same lousy pizza at the same midnight table. Numbers get swapped, not like a movie meet cute, more like we're in the same storm. Text if you need an umbrella. What built the bond wasn't TV. It was trench work, label fights, chart wars, headlines they didn't ask for. When Kelly went to war over My December in 2007, insisting on the album she wrote, not the one the machine wanted. She took every punch a young woman takes when she says no to the playbook. Blake didn't jump in with think pieces. He checked in. He sent the kind of texts that say, "You're not crazy," when everyone else is saying, "Be quiet." That's who he is in this story. The stealth support, the guy who sends the memes scream at midnight when the interview was rough. The one who calls the next morning just to make her laugh before the cameras roll. Fast forward, 2018. Kelly offhandedly mentions she was spanked growing up. The internet does what the internet does and appoints itself parenting police. She takes the heat, he takes the back channel. No tweets, no threads, just a message that reads, "You're a good mom." Period 2023. Reports drop that staff on her talk show feel burned out. Every source goes out of their way to say Kelly herself is kind, but headlines still staple her name to the storm. Suddenly, there are pizza trucks outside the studio on Fridays for weeks. Anonymous tab, Nashville area code. Nobody confirmed it. Nobody had to.
Of events has occurred since rumor first broke of Kelly Clarkson's husband, Brandon Blackstock, cheating on her. While we are hoping for Clarkson's sake these are just rumors, here's what went down. Online publication The Dirty posted a story about Blackstock's alleged affair, and shortly after, under the comments section, a user with Clarkson's name wrote, "This is absolutely absurd. The woman who posted this fictitious rumor about my husband used to be my personal assistant until I terminated her for trying to steal from me."
Now hit play on the moment that rerouted the timeline. The toothbrush line doesn't end with a laugh. Blake piles on. Same managers, same writers, same holiday tables. He winks like he knows exactly what he's doing, turning years of rumor into one ridiculous perfect sentence. Kelly regains breath just long enough to throw the glove down. Fine. If we're that stitched together, get on a record with me. Blake fires back. I will if I get to yodel, and the internet moves as one organism. Number yodel with Kelly appears, multiplies, and by lunch you can practically hear the A&R emails drafting themselves. This isn't the first time fans have begged for the duet. In the early 2000s, he joked in print about singing with her before we're too old to remember the words. Time did its thing. Marriages, divorces, residencies, kids, ranches, talk shows, stadiums. The open feature slot on Kelly's next record suddenly feels less like a rumor and more like a dare. You can feel the audience turning from "wouldn't it be fun" to "why hasn't this happened yet?" The frenzy was instant and weirdly wholesome. Twitter, yes, some of us still call it that, split the vote. Siblings energy versus soulmates trolling. 73% went siblings, which is exactly right. Instagram turned the clip into a flipbook of polls. TikTok did what TikTok does. POVs of your work wife is also your cousin's ex-neighbor's former boss. Stitches of Blake's 90s mullet next to Kelly's idol highlights captioned "intertwined since dial-up." The best comment came from a mom account. This is every PTA friendship that survived 3 principals and 2 superintendents. Translation, loyal, chaotic, built to last. Here's the underreported piece. The part your timeline won't show you. Their brand isn't rivalry, it's refuge. On camera, they roast. Off camera, they regulate each other's pulse. Kelly is the straight shooter who'll walk through the fire with a microphone in one hand and a joke in the other. Blake is the porch light, the one that's always on. He knows when to lean in and make her laugh, and when to stand in the wings and let her take the win. That balance is why the toothbrush line hit. It's not a confession of scandal, it's a confession of normal. This is what real friendship looks like when the world keeps moving your goalposts. So what happens now? Don't hold your breath for a full co-headlining tour. Schedules alone would eat that alive. But circle the idea of a one-night TV event. CMT Crossroads practically writes itself. A surprise single that drops at midnight, or a live-streamed moment where Blake shows up to Kelly Oak and they knock a classic out of the room. The audience is primed, the story is perfect, and their voices were built to stack. Hers slicing the air, his warming the floorboards. If you're a label exec watching this, you're not asking should they? You're asking how fast can we clear the paperwork? And because this is the channel where we say the quiet part too. The reason women, especially the over 50 crew who have lived some life, love this duo is simple. They've seen the storm, they've buried the hatchet, they've done the school night math where call time collides with bedtime and you do it anyway. They don't sell a fantasy, they sell a friendship. The country cousins bit only works because it's anchored in something sturdier than a segment. It's years, it's receipts you don't post. It's the kind of trust that lets you make the riskiest joke of the day and know the other person will be laughing harder than anyone. Back to the studio. The clip ends, the segment wraps, and somewhere backstage, a publicist posts a single cowboy hat emoji because even they know you don't clean up a moment like that, you frame it. The camera loves a reveal. Blake and Kelly gave it one by accident. The feud was fun, the friendship is the point, and now that it's out in the open, expect them to lean into it, not away. Expect Kelly to spin his chair mid-interview just to watch him flail. Expect Blake to drag her into an Oklahoma fight song with the most dramatic twang you've ever heard. Expect the jabs to get sharper, the laughter louder, and the quiet to stay where it belongs, quiet. So what did Blake really say? He said the timeline out loud. He said the thing fans already knew and just wanted permission to believe. This isn't TV chemistry, this is life chemistry. That's why you're still thinking about a one-liner 24 hours later. That's why hashtag yodel with Kelly is still on your For You page. And that's why a duet won't feel like a stunt, it'll feel like a promise finally kept.
Okay. Compartmentalization. So I love you too. This next song, I've never rewritten a song more, and I probably never will. I wrote this song with a lot of hope, okay, and projection for happiness and better than what was happening, and
Your turn. Are you team get the single out now? Or team wait for a live TV moment and break the internet? Drop your call in the comments and pitch the song. Classic cover or brand new? I'm reading them all. And if you want me to storyboard the dream collab, writers, key, tempo, who plays steel, who takes the money note. Say the word. I'll build it beat by beat. Until then, hit like, hit subscribe, and keep the porch light on. Something tells me those two are about to drop by.